The Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF.
Dr. Tom Warkentin, pulse crop breeder with the Crop Development Center at the University of Saskatchewan, joining us here on Real Agriculture and looking ahead to the 2018 growing season when it comes to pea and lentil varieties being grown here on the prairies. What do you see in terms of changes, new varieties coming forward, some of the trends that growers should be looking at and aware of as they're making their seed selections for this year?
Sure. Lots of variety options available in peas and lentils and other pulses. On the pea side, we're seeing the new varieties that are coming along are Inca and Spectrum, showing good yield compared to the Czechs, and also good seed durability, which we feel is a very important trait. Now with those two varieties, they're still in seed multiplication. They're getting close to being at that certified level, but still a little ways to go. In the meantime, Meadow, Amarillo, Saffron are varieties that are available and doing quite well. In lentil, lots of options, red lentil, green, different types. Many of them are the Clearfield resistant types for improved weed control. With red lentil, it's been CDC Maxim has taken, has been the leading variety for the last several years. There's a couple of contenders that have a little bit higher yield now that could be considered by growers. On the large green lentil side, there's both Clearfield and non-Clearfield types available, so growers should make their decisions based on their agronomic considerations and also their considerations for seed quality. There's maybe slight differences there.
Okay. How about looking down the pipeline into the future? Any varieties in particular that you're excited about or changes coming down the pipeline?
Well, on pea we've been, we've worked a lot on agronomic improvements, yield, lodging improvements have been very important. We're putting a big emphasis on improving root rot resistance in lentil and pea, and so I think you'll see some improvements coming. It's kind of a long-term, medium-term effort, but that's coming along. We're putting more emphasis with pea and with faba bean on high protein because there's new interest in fractionation of these crops, especially for protein fractions. So that's gaining more emphasis. We, in the Pulse group, in our group at the University of Saskatchewan, we've had quite an interest in what we call biofortification. So selecting types of pea, lentil, chickpea, or other crops with higher levels of iron, zinc, carotenoids, folates, some of these micronutrients. We feel that this will be interesting for markets, if not today, but soon. We need to project out. The industry wants new markets. We've had recent news about tariffs on pea, lentil, and chickpea in India, so it's kind of reducing one of our big markets. So how do we make new markets? How do we derive interesting things? And so we feel that better micronutrients could be something coming that will be attractive to customers, be they in the developing countries or in North America or Europe. Many people are low in iron in their diets, so we feel like pulses are a good way to deliver some of those key nutrients.
Mm-hmm. And we are certainly seeing, like you mentioned, this explosion in demand right now for pulse fractionation and the whole food market.
Yeah. So we're really excited to hear of 3 or 4 or 5 different fractionation facilities coming online in the next year or so. That will create demand. At present, they want protein, but what do we predict they'll want next? And I think they might want protein quality, not just protein quantity, but what's the quality, what's the amino acid profile of that, and then maybe some of these micronutrients that might also be delivered with the protein products.
You mentioned root rots and the focus on integrating root rot resistance. Can you expand on that and
Sure.
where that's going, the potential there?
Yeah, for sure. this past year was a drought year, but previous to that, we had many of the previous 10 years were wet years. And we saw root rot issues developing in various places in the prairies, in pea, in lentil. We hear a lot about Aphanomyces, which is one of the key organisms causing the root rot. There's also various fusarium organisms. So it's not simple or clear cut. But there's quite a lot of emphasis from the pulse pathologists in Western Canada on root rots. And they're making good progress in understanding the diseases, which are the most prevalent. Do we have sources of resistance? Yes, in some cases we do. Now we're starting to pyramid those sources of resistance into varieties that are well adapted to the prairies. So that's kind of the strategy that we're following.
This is a specific question, is there a timeline for an Aphanomyces resistant variety?
Well, we would hope to have something out to seed growers in, let's say, 3 years from now, 2 to 3, something that could be interesting. It's not going to be fully resistant, but it should have
Improved.
Yeah. We've benefited a lot, I must say, from work done by some of our colleagues in France and in the US who have been working on Aphanomyces in pea for 15 plus years. So we're kind of building on what they've already done. So it allowed us to not have to start from scratch. Yeah.
Well, it's exciting to hear that there's this potential for future pulse varieties. Thanks for taking the time to discuss it with us, Tom.
Thanks, Kelvin. Okay.